I am Natalie. In my work as a healer, therapist, and in this podcast, I consult the spirits, guides, and counselors. I have been working this way for over 13 years, and this connection has existed from the day I entered this world. In this podcast, In the Heart of Being, a spiritual journey, the spirits, guides, and counselors connect me to the layers of being, dimensions, and the library of knowledge, where we connect the spirit with the body, which I love to share with you all. Will you join us in our quest, weaving the unknown into the known? So welcome. Today me, the spirits, the guides and the counselors are going to talk about essence. This is a subject that they propose to talk about, and I'm also very curious why they wanted me to talk about essence, because in a way it is something that we feel more than in a way we talk about. So I'm going to ask them why do you want me to talk about essence? And they tell me actually this is the core of everything. The core of everything we are, everything we believe, and everything we see. When we truly understand what our essence is, our purpose will change from one moment to the next. But how to get in touch with our true essence would be a question I could ask them. And they say the things that makes us let our essence become more wild in a way. Why wild? They say when we are less conditioned, less tamed, then essence flows freely. So we all know when we see children, or when we were children of ourselves, that we felt free and alive. And I was looking at a picture of myself about, well, I think 14 years ago, something like that. And I saw this aliveness inside me. This essence was just flowing out. But then life happened and essence started to, I don't know, become contained a little bit more or less. And they say this is a very important subject nowadays, because with everything that's going around us in this world, we actually lose our feeling of aliveness. And aliveness is very much connected to essence. So essence is the true core of our being. When we understand that the light that we carry inside ourselves is actually the doorway to the essence of something that is much bigger than we are, they say then life becomes you in a way. And not like that you're not in control or that you're not behind the wheel, and more or less you're not actually anymore. But more something like that you feel the fibers of your whole body vibrating more and more and more. And everything you look at, everything you touch, everything you hear, you will understand everything that comes to you in different layers. Because everything we encounter in our lives has several layers. So sometimes I tell people about movies that I really like. And I say, this one is a really interesting movie, or this was a really interesting series, because it has so many layers. And I always say you have like this, I always scale it in a way, this violence of the relationships and the jealousy and the anger and in all those movies. But I always look at something that is underneath, something that in a way binds everything together. And you can say essence is something like that. Essence, no, it's not something like that. Essence is that, the thing that binds everything together, that is the one that connects. And when we understand that this is also in our own lives and not only in movies, but there we see it, then we sometimes see that it has different layers. You can go into the flow of the series and go into the drama or the whatever it wants to evoke in you. But if you listen to the words, or if you listen to the sounds, or if you see that they actually want to get you a certain way that is different than what is playing on the screen, then you touch another layer. And the same is with the words we speak. and the lives we live. We can live a small life. Not that a small life is not good enough, but and a small life can be very, how you say that, have many layers, but in the outside world it may seem small. But inside we have all those layers of who we truly are, all those parts of our true essence. And it's also with one of the languages that we know about that has this quality is the Aramic language. It has 7 layers of consciousness. Every word has 7 layers of consciousness, depending on where we are. And in a way, we see essence in the same way. It has all those different layers. And in the beginning, when we are children, depending on where we grow up, then we have so much connectingness to these levels of consciousness. We we live them day by day. But then we go into the world and people start expecting things more and more and more. And when we are grown up, then there are so many things we need to do, so many obligations we have, that most of the times we get a little bit detached of our true essence, something that makes ourselves expand. There are few moments in our lives that we truly feel it again. Most of the time people have it when children are born or when they are come to a certain place that blows their mind. And then our core connects with what we feel, what we see. And it never loses its brightness, but in a way we forget how bright it can be. So the invitation would be to look back into your life and feel where the essence of you was most present, when it showed itself to you and you didn't even realize that you were this much connected to the true core inside of you. But when you start looking back at the things that happened in your life, that most of the times there were moments when you felt so alive, when you see the pictures with this radiant smile, and people say you are very happy there. And it's not that most of the times the circumstances were not the things that made you happy, but you felt alive. And I believe that essence and feeling alive are so intertwined with each other. The moment we get stuck in our lives, or when we feel blocked, or things are not flowing, or we get disappointed, or we lose people we think are important for ourselves, or we cannot live without. We all have those things. Then most of the times our aliveness becomes like this still water pool. And the longer it stays that way, it starts to rot in a way, because it needs to be stirred up. And for that, you need to get out there, get out into the world. But remember, this part of you that was so present, was so vibrant, and it is still there. It just needs to be reacquainted again. You need to be reacquainted again. And when we do that, wow, then everything is in a way, I would not say possible, because then we would think we would talk about achieving something. And it's not about achieving something, it is about allowing to be what is inside of you, and that you share with the world. So start looking back, think of all the things that happened that made you smile from ear to ear, that made you feel alive. Because the spirits tell me, essence is what you were before you entered this world, and essence is what you will be when you leave. But during this lifetime, you can enrich the soul, you can enrich the knowledge, you can enrich. I don't know why I need to smile, but I need to laugh about it, because they say this life we have is so precious. It is so precious. We forget it. We cannot think of it all the time. But it is important to remember now and then how precious this beautiful life on this beautiful planet is. Because then we remember our essence. And with everything we do, we make our essence shine brighter and brighter and brighter. So we come in with a certain brightness of our essence. And during our lifetimes, we have the possibility to let this essence become a little bit more dull or a little bit more bright. That's why I needed to smile. But there are also moments in our lives that is very bright and then it gets very dull, and then we remember what happened when we felt that way, and then it starts brightening up again. And then one day we will leave, and the essence will be more fulfilled than it was before. Because with every lifetime, everything we do, we enrich ourselves and the place where we came from. Next time, me, the spirits, the guides, and the counselors will talk about bravery. Or perhaps we will talk about intuitive quality, the ones I recorded with the spirits, the guides, and the counselors, and with Mariette as a guest. But more about that in our next episode. In the meantime, you can connect with us on natalienevali.nl and on Instagram, in the heart of being. Thank you for listening. See you next time.